Days turned into weeks, and Kwame kept his vow to return to the Nyira River every evening. He sang his songs, recited tales from the village, and waited. His heart longed for Mirembe, the mysterious savior whose beauty and kindness haunted his dreams. Mirembe, too, felt the pull. Despite the warnings of the river spirits, her heart grew restless. Each evening, she watched Kwame from the depths, unseen but captivated by his songs and the warmth in his voice. Finally, unable to resist any longer, she emerged one night under the silver light of the full moon. "Kwame," she called softly, her voice carrying like a melody over the water. He turned, his face lighting up as he saw her. "Mirembe," he breathed, stepping closer to the riverbank. "I hoped you would come." They talked for hours that night, sharing stories of their worlds. Kwame spoke of the village's bustling markets, its festivals, and the laughter of children. Mirembe spoke of the river's secrets, the shimmering schools of fish, the hidden underwater groves, and the songs of the river spirits. But as their bond deepened, the river spirits grew restless. They whispered among themselves, their voices rising like ripples across the water. "This union is unnatural. It will bring ruin to the river and the land." The spirits warning. One evening, as Mirembe prepared to meet Kwame, the oldest and most powerful of the river spirits, Anansa, appeared before her. Anansa's form was a swirling mass of water and light, her voice deep and resonant. "Mirembe," Anansa said, "you are a guardian of the Nyira River, bound to its waters and its well. This bond with the human threatens the balance. If you continue, there will be consequences." Mirembe bowed her head, her heart heavy. "But he is kind and true, Anansa. He means no harm to the river." Anansa's glowing form shimmered with anger. "It is not his intent, but his presence that disrupts. You must choose, Mirembe, your duty to the river or your love." For the human, torn between her heart and her heritage, Mirembe promised to think on Anansa's words. But as she swam to meet Kwame, she felt the weight of the choice pressing on her soul. Kwame's promise. When Mirembe told Kwame of the spirit's warning, his expression darkened with concern. "I would never harm the river, Mirembe," he said, reaching for her hand. "If my presence brings danger, I will leave. But I will never stop loving you." Mirembe's eyes shimmered with unshed tears. "It is not so simple, Kwame. The river is my home, my essence. To leave it would mean..." She hesitated, looking away. "It would mean losing a part of myself." Kwame was silent for a long moment. Then, with a determined look, he said, "If the river is your word, then I will protect it as fiercely as I would protect you. Teach me, Mirembe. Show me how to honor the Nyira as you do." Moved by his words, Mirembe agreed. She began to teach Kwame the ways of the river, how to respect its rhythms, understand its creatures, and listen to its whispers. Together, they cleaned debris from its banks and tended to the plants that grew along its edge. The river spirits, watching from the depths, murmured in disapproval but did not intervene. Not everyone in the village was as understanding of Kwame's strange behavior. A fisherman named Juma, who had always envied Kwame's skill and admired his tales of survival, grew suspicious. He noticed Kwame disappearing to the river every evening and returning with a look of contentment and mystery. One night, Juma decided to follow him. Hidden among the reeds, he watched in disbelief as Mirembe emerged from the water and spoke to Kwame. Her shimmering tail and otherworldly beauty filled Juma with awe and greed. "A mermaid," he whispered to himself. "If I capture her, I will be rich beyond my wildest dreams. The elders will reward me, and I will be a hero." Juma returned to the village, his mind whirling with plans. The trap. The next evening, Juma set his plan in motion. He hid near the river with a strong fishing net coated in charms given to him by an old sorcerer, charms said to bind even the strongest spirit. As Mirembe and Kwame met, sharing laughter and stories, Juma waited for the perfect moment. When Mirembe swam close to the shore, Juma threw the net with all his strength. Caught off guard, Mirembe struggled as the enchanted net tightened around her. Her cries echoed through the night, sending waves rippling across the river. Kwame leaped into the water, shouting, "Let her go, Juma," but Juma sneered. "She is no ordinary creature, Kwame. She belongs to the village now. Imagine the wealth and power she will bring us." Kwame fought to free Mirembe, but the charms of the net repelled him. Desperate, he turned to the river and shouted, "Spirit of the Nyira, help us. I beg you, protect her, the river's wrath." At Kwame's plea, the river roared to life. The water rose, forming towering waves that crashed onto the shore. The river spirits emerged, their glowing forms swirling around Juma. "You have defied the sacred balance," Anansa's voice boomed. "You sought to claim what is not yours. For this, you shall face the river's wrath." Juma's screams were drowned by the rushing water as the river swallowed him whole. The enchanted net disintegrated, freeing Mirembe, who collapsed into Kwame's arms. The river calmed, Anansa appeared before Mirembe and Kwame. "The balance has been restored," she said, her voice softer now. "But the danger remains. Mirembe, you must decide. Will you stay in the river and fulfill your duty, or will you join the human world and face its challenges?" Mirembe turned to Kwame, her heart breaking. "If I leave the river, I will lose my connection to its magic. But if I stay..." She hesitated, tears streaming down her face. Kwame held her hands tightly. "Whatever you choose, Mirembe, I will stand by you. Your happiness is all that matters. Your happiness is all that matters to me." Mirembe closed her eyes, searching her heart. When she opened them, her decision was clear. Mirembe's heart felt like it was being torn in two. On one hand, the river was her home, her essence, the very thing that gave her life. On the other, Kwame represented a world she had never known, a world of love, connection, and the possibility of something greater. After a long silence, Mirembe looked at Anansa, her voice trembling but resolute. "I cannot abandon my duty to the river, for it is a part of who I am. But I also cannot turn away from Kwame, for he is the one who has taught me what it means to truly feel alive." Anansa's glowing form flickered as she listened, her ancient eyes unreadable. "You seek both worlds, child. Such a path is fraught with danger. The river and the land are not meant to coexist so closely. But is it not possible?" Mirembe asked, her voice filled with desperation. "Can we not find a way to honor both the river and the love we share?" Anansa was silent for a moment, then sighed. "There is one way, but it will test your bond and your courage. You must journey to the heart of the river, where the source of the Nyira's magic flows. There, you may seek the blessing of the Mother Spirit. If she deems your love worthy, she will grant you a path to unite your two worlds. But beware, many have sought her favor and failed. The journey will demand much from both of you." Kwame stepped forward, determination etched into his face. "I will do whatever it takes to prove our love is true." "Tell us how to find the heart of the river," Anansa nodded. "Follow the current upstream until the river narrows into a hidden passage. The way will be treacherous, and the spirits that guard the heart will test you at every turn. Trust in each other, and perhaps you may succeed." The next morning, Kwame and Mirembe set out on their journey. Mirembe swam in the water, her tail glimmering like a silver flame, while Kwame walked along the river bank, carrying a small satchel with food and a handmade charm from his grandmother for protection. The first leg of their journey was peaceful, with the river flowing gently and birds singing in the trees. Kwame and Mirembe spoke of their hopes and fears, their bond growing stronger with every passing moment. But as the sun began to set, the river grew darker and narrower, the air thick with an ominous stillness. The trees along the bank seemed to close in, their gnarled roots reaching toward the water like claws. "This must be the hidden passage Anansa spoke of," Mirembe said, her voice barely above a whisper. Kwame nodded, his hand tightening around the charm in his satchel. "Stay close. Whatever comes, we'll face it together." As they ventured deeper into the passage, the water began to swirl unnaturally, forming whirlpools that threatened to pull Mirembe under. From the shadows, a low, menacing voice echoed, "Who dares approach the heart of the river?" A figure emerged from the swirling water, a spirit made entirely of liquid, its shape shifting constantly. Its eyes were dark voids, and its voice was as deep as the river itself. "We seek the Mother Spirit's blessing," Kwame said boldly. The spirit laughed, a sound like crashing waves. "Then you must prove your bond is true. A single lie will doom you both." The spirit raised its arms, and suddenly Kwame and Mirembe were separated by a wall of water. They could see and hear each other, but they could not reach out. you must answer 3 questions about each other. The spirit said, if your answers are honest, the path will open. But if even one is false, you will remain here forever. The first question boomed through the air. Kwame, what is Mirembe's greatest fear? Kwame hesitated for a moment, then answered, she fears being trapped, unable to swim freely in her home. The spirit turned to Mirembe. Is this true? Mirembe nodded. Yes. It is my greatest fear. The wall of water shimmered but held firm. The second question was directed at Mirembe. What does Kwame desire most in his heart? Mirembe smiled softly. He desires to be a storyteller known not for his survival, but for his kindness and bravery. The spirit turned to Kwame. Is this true? Kwame's eyes glistened. Yes. She speaks the truth. The wall of water began to thin, but the final question echoed ominously. What would you sacrifice for the other's happiness? This time, both Mirembe and Kwame were required to answer. Kwame spoke first. I would sacrifice my life if it meant Mirembe could remain in the river, free and safe. Mirembe's voice trembled as she replied, and I would sacrifice my connection to the river if it meant Kwame could live a life of joy and fulfillment. The spirit was silent for a long moment. Then slowly lowered the wall of water. You have passed the test. Continue your journey, but know the hardest trial lies ahead. After what felt like days of travel, they finally reached the source of the Nyira River, a shimmering pool surrounded by towering cliffs. The water glowed with an otherworldly light, and in its center stood the Mother Spirit, a being of radiant beauty with hair like cascading waterfalls and eyes that held the wisdom of ages. You have come far, the Mother Spirit said, her voice like the gentle rush of a stream. Why do you seek to unite two worlds that were never meant to be one? Kwame stepped forward, his voice steady. Because love knows no boundaries. It is not confined by land or water, by duty or tradition. It is the force that binds all life. Mirembe added, we seek not to defy the natural order but to honor it in a new way. Together, we can protect the river and the land, ensuring harmony for both. The Mother Spirit regarded them for a long moment, then smiled. Your hearts are pure, and your bond is strong. I will grant your wish, but it comes at a cost. What cost? Mirembe asked. The Mother Spirit extended her hand. Mirembe, you will gain the ability to walk on land, but you will lose the magic of the river. Kwame, you will be bound to the river, your life tied to its health and balance. If the river suffers, so will you. Kwame and Mirembe exchanged a glance, then nodded in unison. We accept. The Mother Spirit raised her hands, and the glowing water surged around them. Mirembe's tail transformed into legs, and she stumbled onto the shore, supported by Kwame. At the same time, Kwame felt a deep connection to the river, as if its currents now flowed through his veins. Your bond has been blessed, the Mother Spirit said. Go forth and protect the balance of both worlds. As the light faded, Mirembe and Kwame stood together, their hands clasped tightly. They had found a way to unite their worlds, but they knew their journey was far from over. Story to be continued. Please make sure to like, subscribe and follow my page. Thanks for watching.